Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the GameReplays.org TS3 qualifying brackets number 1. We are into the semifinals round now with both MSI and Wahlin. Both teams have already beaten out 2 games to get to these semifinals. Whoever's going to go on past that will meet up with the others, which I believe is EG versus DWI. So very big names here, ladies and gentlemen. I am the Four Court Jester tonight, and joining me for competitive insights will be Ja, who we just saw on the live stream, and swindlemelonzz. Welcome back, both of you. How are you guys doing?
Hey, how's it going?
So,
Short and sweet and to the point. I like it. So we have seen Wahlin here just beat out Team Ice in the last quarterfinals match with a very strong matchup, and really it just came down to a lot of strong play in that. MSI versus Duskbin apparently was a quote-unquote short match. We should have hopefully that up for everyone, but I mean will probably be seeing Duskbin again in the future sometimes in the next qualifying brackets. Now MSI is obviously a big strong team that just came back from the DreamHack. They are the champions, widely regarded as the most powerful team in Heroes of Newerth at this time, and we have to see what this newly reformed Wahlin is going to be able to do. Now back at the DreamHack, Wahlin was a bit of a different team. You will see this guy right here, Revy, now playing for these guys, and he was of course the captain of Druid's QPad who took them out of the DreamHack. And so this is actually within the last week, this is Revy again playing against MSI, but this time he's not in front of a billion screaming fans over in Sweden. He is nice and comfortable behind his computer, and if anyone read his experience post about his entire trip there, hopefully we will see a much more calm, collected team as Wahlin goes head-to-head here against MSI. So, Ja, I know you were in the last game, but hopefully we'll get all about that out of the way. What do you think of this game?
I think it's gonna be a great game. Like we underestimated Wahlin. We kind of went in that game with a couple ringers and thinking that Wallin's gonna be a stomp. But I mean, they're a really strong team. They play really well and they have really strong support. Like they had lane wards almost in every single lane, and so it just really hard. It was really hard to gank them. And overall, it's gonna be a really strong team. I don't think Wallin's to be underestimated.
it also, though, it might have a lot to do with the fact that Ice was missing their star player, swindlemelonzz. But, I'm not going to read too far into that, but we'll see what happens next time.
Oh, well, we know what everyone's opinion here is now. We are just about to finish up the bands here, and we are now into the picking phase. So, Swindle, what do we got here for the bands?
Let's see here. Alright, I'll start off banning Hellbringer, MSI DR, then Pharaoh and Pebbles, Andrew Chipper, and it looks like WAHL is going to first pick Slither. I'm guessing that's because MSI, that's one of the heroes they really love to run, especially Trixie. So, I don't know, maybe just trying to bring them out of their comfort heroes. And, yeah.
Yeah, look at that Bombardier pickup as first pick. He's been a first pick hero for a while now. I mean, that ultimate is just so incredibly powerful, especially if you get an ulti stick. I think that's going to be a really powerful force on MSI's team, and WAHL is going to have to definitely watch out for that.
Well, Bombardier was banned out of my last 2 games, so it is nice and refreshing to see him again. I'm not too surprised MSI has picked him up. He is kind of like a favorite hero. I've also noticed we don't have a Hellbringer in this game, neither with a Pharaoh. That's kind of dwindling down like the top picks here on this Fresh Pro. Just taking a quick look at him. He has 11% on that Pharaoh, and he's definitely a nice big favored hero. Do you think we might see Fresh Pro go with something a bit more standard here, Ja, with like a Madman or a Wild Soul, or do you think he's going to mix it up a bit?
It's hard to say, I mean, like MSI does a lot of things, but I probably wouldn't be surprised to see potentially a Madman or maybe a Zeus pickup, because I mean I know Fresh is likes to play that side lane solo, so I don't know. I mean, I don't know. Anything could happen here, really. I mean, it's too early to tell, but we'll find out in a minute.
Now, Swindle, you were talking about, I mean, just taking out MSI from their comfort zone, so to speak. But I mean, at this time, I mean, with a Slither, he can either go for that support or he can either go for that semi-carry role. What's kind of been the trend we've been seeing with Slither lately?
Well, really just for MSI, and just really, it's really solely them. I mean, a couple other teams have tried to copy it, but Trixie loves to play like the solo carry Slither. He's really strong one-on-one. There's really no hero that he has an innate disadvantage to, which isn't true with a lot of other heroes. So while he can be played as support, it's really nice to utilize it as a carry.
And speaking of carries, I do see...
You know, but another thing is that...
Uh-huh.
Oh, I was just gonna say that one thing about Slither is that he does utilize farm pretty well, but one thing, the reason why I kind of like putting him on the semi-carry roles because there's other heroes that could utilize the same farm more than Slither can. So you know it's kind of something like I don't like to see too much, but you know.
Well, I do know that
I think Wahlin will definitely run him as like
Trixie on a
support.
gladiator. So that is going to be very, very entertaining to watch.
Yeah, no, Trixie is such a great gladiator player. Like, I mean, you see him like he's one of the few players that land those blind torrents, and you just love to see those because it's just like, it's just like phenomenal. You know, it's just kind of like seeing Soulsailor land some blind raises.
Another really cool thing he does, I don't know how he does it, because whenever I in-house or scrim and we use Gladiator, sometimes you get in a situation where you want to, it's called static pushing, or freezing the lane, where you try and keep it like near your tower by denying like whole waves so they kind of just meet at the same spot and keep dying. He manages to do that with Gladiator even while skilling Whip, and I have no idea how he does it. But it's something I mean, he's the master of the hero, so, you know.
Yeah, MSI is kind of, as I said, right now they're the dominant force to be reckoned with in this game with, I mean, a big DreamHack championship under that belt. So they obviously know what they're going to be doing. They know how to play this game. They have very good synergy, and we're just going to probably see a lot more signature moves coming out of these guys. So we do have the Legion all now finished up here with what Wahlin is going to go for, and what are they going to be doing here, Joe?
Well, okay. What I'm probably gonna see here is, I think Wallin's definitely gonna go for that tri-lane. They're actually picking up the Legionnaire, who's just been recently buffed, and it's a fairly powerful hero. But I'm kind of thinking that potentially they're gonna run maybe a Legionnaire tri-lane with Nymphora and Witchslayer, but you can't really be too sure about that. Run a solo with Slither on the side lane and Soulstealer middle. And then as far as MSI goes, I mean. I think they're going to go for a tri-lane too, as a matter of fact. They're definitely probably going to go for the Voodoo Glacius Gladiator tri-lane with Bombardier soloing middle and Madman on the side lane. So this should be a pretty exciting game. I mean, I do think that Bombardier has quite a bit of an advantage over Soulstealer at the middle simply because of his third skill. I can't remember for the life of me what it's called, but it just, I mean, like, if you can get some hits off, it just does a phenomenal amount of damage.
Boom Dust?
Boom Dust, yes, that's what it is.
Boom goes the dynamite. So we do have the game now up and running. We do have Wahlin here with that Legionnaire, as you said, recently buffed, but the last time we saw a Legionnaire was the last game we actually casted, Ja, which was that all-random 1900 game. So I'm very definitely interested to see what a planned Legionnaire can do as opposed to an all-random one. But it does look like Revy will be playing on that. As a quick countdown, we got Nose on Soulstealer, we got Dowers here on Nymphora. Is it Criley? I believe it's Criley on that Slither, Revy on the Legionnaire, and Mr. Pink on this Witchslayer. And who do we have on the other team here, Swindle?
We got Bot on Voodoo, Nova on Glacius, Trixie on Glad, No Tail on Bombardier, and Freshpro on Madman. And it's actually really interesting. Both teams are actually going to tri-lane top, so we're going to hopefully see some action right from the start of the game.
There's nothing worse than...
Yeah, it looks like definitely pretty predictable lanes. Like, I mean, even with the axe pickup, even though it's pretty eccentric and it's not something you see that often. Like generally running someone in the jungle that really doesn't have too strong of a gank ability is not a good idea, especially because he has to get so low in order to get a lot of farm. And looks like MSI is actually trying to come up here on this Soulstealer, but instead choosing to back, they're playing really aggressive here.
Well, the rune is now spawned. That rune of Invis is going to be going down. Up goes the Ward of Sight from Nova, and we've had a courier harassed and harassed and harassed as this has become, as he's just been running around doing his part scouting. Now I have noticed that the courier is no longer really more of a passive unit to use anymore. A lot of people like to use him for turtling up, or not turtling up, sorry, for scouting out into that early game. And like, how long has this been going on? Because that did not used to happen. It's only been around for what, the last month or so, Joe?
Well, you know, it's always been a smart thing to do. You know, I guess just kind of people just like kind of realize that, hey, you know, using the courier to scout is like a really helpful thing, and yeah, I guess it's just a trend that this kind of caught on recently. I remember like back in the day, like people used to do it quite a bit, but for some reason it just fell out of fashion. But you know, definitely, there's absolutely nothing wrong with it. It's definitely another way to get any kind of advantage on the enemy team.
So with the tri-lane up top, that will be the Gladiator, Glacius, and Voodoo Jester. So quite a typical combo we've seen out of MSI before. And that really, I kind of expected Revy to go jungling with the Legionnaire. I'm not too sure why, but I guess I always just assumed he'd be doing that. He is sticking here in the lane with Mr. Pink on this Witch Slayer and Nymphora for support. What did Nymphora go? She went Nymphora Zeal first right off the bat. So not even a heal, just more of the mana regen. What do you think they're going to be trying to do here, Swindle? Like, what would be the expected kill combo from this Legion team up top?
To be perfectly honest, I really don't know. I mean, Axe is a really, I think he's really more being used as just a way to keep the strong Hellborn combo off of his support heroes, because if you're gonna try and go on, for example, them for a Witch, I mean, they're squishy targets, but it's hard to get through an Axe who's taunting you into a creep wave, so I really think they're gonna try and play more defensively and try to outfarm the Hellborn tri-lane, but we'll see.
Ja?
Well, I mean, these are pretty, like, I guess, I kind of want to say these tri-lanes are fairly even, but I mean, it's really just who executes and plays better, you know. We gotta make sure, you gotta make sure your heroes are in the right positions, you know, you're not getting dual stunned and whatnot, and, you know, I mean, this could go either way.
Okay, fair enough. Now, we do see a lot of action going down here up top. It does look like that Witch Slayer is going to be the Bloodlust kill, as that Gladiator really picked that up. But the stun missed this Gladiator, so he's probably going to be able to live through that. He's going to be bottling up. Sorry, not bottling up. He will be potioning up. But look what happened in the mid. Solstier going down to this Bombardier as he took out the mid there from that Solstier. So 2 kills right off the bat here for MSI, almost simultaneously. And at the same time, we had Gladiator use that newfound gold of his to go get himself a life tube. And that's an early pickup at a 3-minute mark, Ja.
Yeah, I mean, that is a fairly early pickup. I mean, it's definitely that kill that is definitely gave him that early game advantage, and especially with the newfound assist system, where, you know, sisters get like such a large amount of gold now. I mean, kills in a tri-lane are just huge now. I mean, it provides so much advantage as far as experience and gold that, you know, WAHL really can't be afforded to be feeding these kills. Like, they're really gonna have to step up their play and hopefully reverse the current trend.
So speaking of getting up your play, Swindle, I mean, we've been paying a lot of attention up to the top lanes, but what's going on in the middle and bottom lanes? Like, who kind of has the advantage there? What are they doing? Is it just a lot of harass? What's the deal here, sir?
No, Bombardier kind of has an advantage over Solsteel anyway, but No Tail using his patented bottle first. He hasn't crowed yet, I don't think, because he's got every rune. But I mean, Bombardier is really strong solo, and maybe even the strongest. And against Soulstealer, I think he has a huge advantage. So he was able to get that first blood utilizing a haste. But bottom Slither, almost doubling the CS of Madman. But I mean, that's pretty much to be expected. Madman win items to survive, whereas Slither win items. Well, I mean, Slither just has an advantage, so of course he's gonna win. But that's how it's looking right now.
Are you keeping track of this top lane here, Ja? Because I just saw Revy try so very hard with the help of his team to take down that Voodoo Jester, but MSI showing such great team synergy that no deaths actually occurred at all in this top lane.
Yeah, no, I mean they're doing a great job. Like MSI's they're really experienced. Oh, Witchslayer just missing this. Voodoo Jester throwing in the